I am worried. I'm worried because somebody who's deranged is going to hear this kind of language and take action against a journalist, either at a rally or in some more private setting.
I said this during the campaign. It's going to happen. And I don't want it to happen.
That's what you mean by somebody's going to get hurt.
Somebody's going to get hurt. It's just a question of time because just like in every other dynamic in life, if you take somebody who's got a legitimate reason to be upset in the first place and you pump them up and it starts to become a call to action, somebody's going to get hurt.
Somebody's going to get hurt. Michele Malkin joins us right now from Denver, Colorado. She, of course, is the senior editor at Conservative Review. So, Michele, there you got some members of the mainstream media talking about how when Trump puts out there that the media are the enemies of the American people and fake news and stuff like that, that's going to lead to trouble.
Yeah, well, this is about delegitimizing very legitimate criticism. This is about trying to criminalize political dissent in America, and it's what the left is always about. They are trying to invoke some sort of impenetrable shield around journalists who have long enjoyed living in a bubble. And Donald Trump, more than any other politician in modern America, has successfully pierced that bubble, and they're panicked about it.
Well, let me say this. They are going out of their way, and Donald Trump has said some things he probably wants back, but they're going out of their way to say this president is anti-Hispanic. You saw this woman on last night says he's a fascist, he's worse than Hitler. So if anybody out there is on the edge, you have more people saying that than anyone saying anything than Donald Trump is saying bad about any journalist.
Yeah, that's right. And you want to talk about inflammatory rhetoric and incitements to violence. Where are all these journalists to criticize members of Hollywood, members of their own industry, who have outright explicitly called for violence, not only against Donald Trump himself? I mean, do these people not recall that during the campaign last year and leading up until Election Day that the hashtag assassinate Trump was trending? Where were they to pontificate about the dangers of the climate of hate and climate of left-wing inciting rhetoric? They were nowhere. They were AWOL. Hypocrites.
Michele, let's talk about immigration now because, you know, the president is clearing the way for more deportations with this executive order that we're expecting on Thursday or Friday, I guess Steve was saying. If you look at this Harvard study, it says 80% of people, 80%, this is a Harvard study, they approve, they support cities that arrest illegals, and they say that they should turn them over to ICE agents or to Border Patrol agents so that they should be deported if they're criminals. But now we're learning in one of the newspapers this morning, there's an editorial encouraging some of these mayors from sanctuary cities to, if they find an illegal doing something wrong, don't arrest them, because then they'll have a criminal record and then they will get deported. What's your opinion?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we have to stop calling these places sanctuary cities. They're outlaw cities. These are safe spaces for criminality, and people are sick and tired of it. And the hue and cry from ordinary Americans and taxpayers who know that they're pandering mayors and their mush-minded police chiefs are not serving them, but rather serving open border special interests. They're finally being heard by Donald Trump and this administration. We now have an Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, who is committed to enforcing the rule of law and sending a message to every one of these police departments that they must not defy that rule of law.
I just hope President Obama is not behind it, because can you imagine Bill Clinton doing that to Bush 43 or 43 doing that to President Obama? If his organization is behind it and he's fueling it, that is, needless to say, unpresidential club-like.
Well, yeah, I think it's actually treacherous behavior, and we know that these groups are behind it. We know that Organizing for America, the SEIU, Soros-funded open borders agitators, this is what they do. It's agitation for agitation's sake.
Absolutely, and Barack Obama doesn't want his legacy destroyed by Donald Trump, so he would do, I would imagine he would do pretty much anything to continue the legacy, and so that's why OFA now, Organizing for Action, is out there organizing people. Last night on this channel, Michele, I don't know if you saw the Tucker Carlson program, but he had one of these organizers for one of these groups called Refuse Fascism, and he called her out just to figure out what they're about, and all he wanted to know was, what do you want? But she was really more interested in name-calling and delegitimizing the president, so they didn't get very far. But nonetheless, we'd like to play a little of it for entertainment purposes.
Actually, it would have taken millions and millions to rise up to stop Hitler. It absolutely would have.
But what do you
and it's
think?
what people should have done.
Okay, may I ask you a real question?
It is shameful for you to
morally outraged, but hold on. I know it's shameful, but let me ask you this.
It's funny to you.
It's a question. So this
no, because I know you love to carry water for this criminal, this war criminal wannabe in chief. It's righteous that millions of people have stood up in protest and continue to do so. And by the way, since I know he sometimes watches, President Trump, if you're watching, way more people have protested than were at your Nazi inauguration. We refuse to accept this for the world, and we must drive them out.
Okay, in just 30 seconds, she was able to work in Hitler and war criminal, and she's talking about our legitimate president of the United States.
Yeah, she definitely wins the gold medal for left-wing ad hominem attacks. I think what people have to understand is this is classic astroturfing. These people don't represent anybody other than the moneyed left-wing progressive interests, and she's just the latest generation of Code Pinkos, you know, from the Bush years. And look, you've got Michael Moore out there who has now put out a resistance calendar, okay?
Right.
This is going to be their week for the next 4 years. Every day, Monday, protest. Tuesday, obstruct. Wednesday, smear.
It's going to get old.
What else does he do?
This is their full-time jobs.
They don't even know what they're doing in 4 weeks or 5 weeks. They're just doing this because they don't like him. They don't even know what he's going to be doing in a month.
You're right. All right.
They don't care about policy. They don't care about taxpayers, children, women, men, workers. No, they care about obstructing Trump.
All right. Ma'am, thank you very much. Michele Malkin from the great city of Denver. See you next time.
Thank you.